Are you coming back to school with me? We could have done it all so easily.
Hi, my name is Craig Thompson Wood. I'm your host on Teaching with Board Games, here today to take a look at Headbanz by Kroger. Now, one thing I like about Headbanz is that it's a game that's going to be very versatile in terms of number of players, as well as the fact that it's going to be really good for ESL players or just basic language development. Or any language development for that matter. So like if I could see this being used by the French teachers at my school as a game that could be helping to promote, and I'll talk more about that in a little bit. But let's first just jump right to the report card, and then I will talk more about those other things. So in looking at the number of players for Headbanz, I'm going to give it the A. It says on the box for 2 to 6 players, but that's only because of the number of Headbanz things that they're giving you. They give you that number, so that's all these things you can use. But I mean, if you are creative and come up with a way to fashion your own headband or something that can just stick those cards in there, who's to say that you can't have more, right? It's the only reason they say that is because of the number of headbands. So this is really a game that you could play more. Like I've actually seen, like in preparing for this video, I looked up the different editions of the games, and some of them say between 2 to 10 players. So I think that was one of the adult ones. I mean, there's a lot of different additions to this game. There's like a Harry Potter, a Disney adult versions. So this is a game, again, very versatile, can be used in a lot of different contexts, a lot of different audiences. But yeah, I mean, it's limited only by the number of headbands that you have. So if you can come up with your own, then number of players increases. So that's why I give it the A. For learning, I'm going to give the game an A. Because as I say, I think the game has a lot of potential in there, not only in terms of like I mentioned, the language skills, so that you are learning to speak the languages, so that you can ask questions in the given language you want to learn. You can listen to the questions being asked. You can respond, formulate, guess what you are in the language you want to learn. So it's all really good that way. One thing I liked about the game is that, I don't know if they show it here, but yeah, you can see that they have it in the English and then they have it in the French as well. So, and the cards, there's cards with questions that you ask, and the cards are in English and in French. So you can get used to just repeatedly asking these questions and getting used to those questions, and that's going to make them for very good, just developing those kinds of things in your repertoire of skills, language sentences that you have available to you is going to be very good. So I think that's a really excellent thing. And then learning the vocabulary for all the different things that you could be and things like that. So I just think there's a lot in there. Plus then there's the strategies of the skills of the kinds of questions you're asking, and at what point you're going to make your guess as to what you think you are. All very very good skills to be learning, so I give it the A. For fun, I'm going to give the game a B+. I think the game has it's a fun game. I mean, it's the not social deduction, really, it's deduction, but not a social deduction, but the deduction type of game, and I think it's the fact that it's also scaffolded. That's so even the very young kids can be playing this because you have those scaffolded questions for them. It's going to make it an enjoyable experience for all people. And just the silly thing of wearing those things on your head and trying to guess what you are, and just the thinking, it's a fun game. And I've never played the adult versions, but I think that it would be one that would go over well with them as well. So yeah, so I think B+ for me. For time, I'm going to give the game an A. The game is extremely quick to set up. You're just really putting on the headband and sticking a card in your thing there, and you're playing. Now they say in the game that you have these little tokens, and each person's supposed to start with 3 tokens, and every time you get you guess correctly what you are, you give away 1 token. The first person to get rid of all 3 tokens wins. But it's one of those things, like, you don't have to worry about tokens. Like to me, I prefer playing without the tokens. Like, who cares, right? Just play, have fun, guess, and it's just the ongoing game. If you take away the tokens, it actually makes it more fun, because you are not so worried about the winning and losing aspect. You're just playing for the fun of it. And in that case too, it removes the whole aspect of time, because you play for as long as you want, or as much time as that you have. So if you're playing for a period, then the students play for the period. But if you're just playing for the fun of it, then you just play until you don't feel like playing anymore. It doesn't have to be a logical ending and start and finish time. So yeah, that's great. And then like the cleanup and the setup is so quick, so easy that yeah, so it's definitely an A for me. For cost for Headbanz, I'm going to give it an A. The cost of the game is between $20 and $25, depending on the edition you're getting and where you're buying it from. But when you're playing, you can like with that, like really a kind of unlimited number of players, as long as you can provide your own headbands for the other players. And the amount of times that you know, especially if you're using this in a classroom setting, how much use you're going to get out of this in repeated play. To me, it's a fantastic value. There's not a lot to the game, so it's just the cards, the headbands, the tokens, the little timer there as well. Which a lot of those things can be replaced. I mean, the cards are kind of the most essential things in it. So that's what you're paying for. So it's a lot of money really for just a few cards. But like I was saying, when you're going to be getting so much use out of it, then the value comes through. And that's what I always say is that it's not about how much you're paying, because you could pay $5 for a game and still be wasting $5, or you could be paying $100 for a game and totally get your money's worth out of it. It all depends on how much enjoyment you get out of it. And I think this is one that you're going to be getting a lot of enjoyment out of, so therefore I give it the A. All right, let me take you to the table. Take you to the forehead, and I'll show you how the game is played. So in the game of Headbanz, this is how it sets up. You just put this thing on your head, and I would recommend sterilizing it after every use. Just always don't need to be concerned with like transmission of lice and things like that. But you're also putting a card inside there. Now the player shouldn't be seeing the card before it goes in. Now obviously I'm seeing what it is because it's in the video here, but it's also I need to know what it is so I can talk about how to play the game. But like I said, you also get these little handy dandy cards here, and they have the things in English and in French to sample questions to help the kids if they don't know what kinds of questions to ask. This is going to give them some good questions to be asking. So I might ask, am I alive? Suis-je vivant? Do I have legs? Ai-je de pâté? Pardon my French. My French is not fantastique. Am I an animal? Suis-je un animal? Can I swim? Puis-je nager? Can I be eaten? Suis-je comestible? So all these questions you can be asking. So what happens in a turn is, so if it's my turn, then the players are going to turn over this little timer here. So wait till it runs out, okay, and go. So now I can ask each of the players in turn one question about my card. So I can ask these questions. Can I fly? No, I can't fly. Okay, next person. Am I a person? No, you're not a person. Okay, next person. Can I be eaten? Yes, you can be eaten. Okay, so it starts to narrow it down. I start to think about the clues, starting to deduct based on the answers that I'm given what I think. Now, and the next person, maybe the next person, I'll say, okay, I can be eaten, and I can't fly, and I'm not a person. Am I a hamburger? No, you're not a hamburger. Okay, so now I go, and I keep asking questions until my time runs out. Once my time runs out, then we go to the next person. They start asking us questions, and so on. So that's another thing I like about the game, is that there's not a lot of downtime, because even when it's not your turn to be asking the questions, you are going to be asked questions, and you have to listen to what the person's asking you, consider the question, and then give them an answer. So I like that a lot too. Sometimes some games there's too much downtime and people get bored and restless. And so if I were to eventually guess my answer correctly, then I have these little tokens. There's supposed to be 3 of them that are in front of me, and once I've given up all 3, then I win. But like I said, I don't like playing with the tokens. I like to just play for the fun of it. I know students can tend to be competitive, and they may want to just count how many cards. They can keep the card if they won, and the other students get rid of theirs or whatever. But I mean, it's just play for fun. But that is it. That is how you play Headbanz. So that's going to wrap it up for Headbanz. This game, like I said, has a lot of potential uses, like either as an indoor recess activity, as just a center with some young kids, or I think it has a lot of potential, like I said, in a French class. And this is one that I'm definitely going to be introducing to the French teacher at my school and seeing if she would like to make use of this one, because I just think it has so much great potential in it for that reason. Like, especially the fact, like I said, the cards are bilingual. They have the two languages right on it, so that can help the students to scaffold them to be successful in that. So this game definitely gets a thumbs up from me. And if you have any ideas for games you like, Headbanz you might like to see on the channel, games which are good, especially I like those games which are good for ESL learners or learners of other languages, because I just think that there's just such a great potential for games in those areas. But really, any games of any subject matter at all, games that you know of that you would like to see on the channel, please let me know in the comment section below. If you have questions you might have about implementing games or topics of gamification, game-based learning, then leave me that message in the comment section below. It helps. I'm always looking for suggestions from the viewers, as it helps me to give you relevant content. And that is going to wrap it up for today's episode. Until next time, I am Craig Thompson-Wood, your host on Teaching with Board Games, saying thanks for coming to the classroom.
Are you coming back to school with me? We could